Richard Geller here. I'm going to talk about the trends right now in the economy and what makes a great business if you can spot these trends. The mortgage meltdown has moved beyond subprime to commercial real estate. So we're talking about $3.5 trillion in commercial real estate that's problematic. $3.5 trillion, about $1.5 trillion is coming due between now and 2014. And the delinquency rate already is over 9% on much of this, some of it as high as 20%, for example, on hotels and motels. It's more than doubled in the last 12 months. What does that tell you? And non-performing loans are close to 16%, up from 1% 3 years ago. It's a huge, huge, huge issue right now, and it's not getting the attention that it deserves. Meanwhile, commercial real estate sales transactions have fallen 90% since their peak at 2007, and they're below levels that we haven't seen in maybe decades. So prices are down 40%, and if you look at this chart, which shows you all the mortgages made and when they mature, you can see that commercial mortgages are not like residential. They're made for very limited periods of time, often 5 years. So the commercial mortgages that were made at the peak of 2006, 2007, 2008, they are coming due. There is a tremendous number of mortgages that are coming due. This is billions of dollars, huge numbers of mortgages due. And now that the properties are worth less than the mortgage, guess what? There has to be massive numbers of loan mods, short sales, all kinds of opportunities. Meanwhile, vacancy rates are near all-time highs, or at least highs since we've been keeping records. So the owners of commercial properties are finding increasing vacancies at just the wrong time. Now, let's look at the economy. Have things bottomed out in commercial real estate? Is it all going to get better anytime soon? Wouldn't you say that depends on whether we get full employment, whether we get new construction activity, whether we get more manufacturing in the United States? Because surely if unemployment remains very high and construction and manufacturing are falling or very low, surely that doesn't bode well for commercial real estate, because commercial real estate depends on consumers spending money. Well, this is a chart from the Federal Reserve. This is showing us that employment in all the manufacturing industries is at levels that haven't been seen since 1958. And as you can see, there's really no recovery at all that's visible right there after the so-called recession is over. What about motor vehicle sales, automobiles and light trucks? Well, they're at 1984 levels. You notice that there's a spike, which was where they did the Cash for Clunkers program, but levels are half of the peak there, and you can see that in 1984 we had half the population that we have in the United States now, and automotive sales are at that level. Quite stalled out, I'm sure you would agree. Not a good sign either. So what about, this is my favorite way of looking at unemployment, which is how long do people have to go typically in order to find a new job? How many weeks does it take to find a new job? And this goes back, this data series, to the mid-1960s. And you can see that it's actually never been worse, that even despite the so-called economic recovery, that the average person that's unemployed is actually unemployed for 20 weeks, which has never been higher. And really, that's a distorted statistic. The real number is much worse than that, because there are more and more people falling off the unemployment rolls entirely, and they don't count in this data series. They're discarded. So if you've been unemployed a long time, you don't count. So this number is really at an all-time peak, in my opinion, which means that we have not really seen an economic recovery. Consumers are cutting back. They're cutting back in a big way because they're not employed. Real incomes that consumers have are falling. Taxes are going up. It is, to use this overused metaphor, the perfect storm. If you want to know how to make money with this, help people get out of debt. Help business owners, not so much consumers, business owners, loan mods, lease mitigation. Go to distressedpropertyformula.org. I have 4 free videos. Or if you're watching this on the distressedpropertyformula.org site, simply click on the link or fill in your information, and I'll get you those 4 free videos on how you can make money, help business owners who need loan mods and lease mods. Thanks for listening. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.